Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1. Marcus Aurelius. Women aren't attracted to men for shallow reasons. Looks might catch their attention, but what truly turns them on are the traits that reveal a man's strength, discipline, and character. The things that make a woman desire you, truly crave your presence, are the qualities that separate you from the average guy. And the Stoics understood this better than anyone. They mastered the art of self-control, resilience, and presence, and these are the very things that make a man irresistible to women. A man who knows who he is, what he wants, and how to carry himself commands instant attraction. In this video, you'll learn the 7 biggest turn-ons for women, the things that make them look at you differently, respect you deeply, and feel magnetically drawn to you. Watch until the end, and if you relate to any of these, drop a comment, like, and subscribe. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Confidence. Women don't just like confidence, they need it. It's not a bonus or an extra trait that makes a man attractive. It's the foundation of desire. A man without confidence is a man who blends into the background, a man who moves through life seeking permission instead of claiming what's his. Confidence is the unshakable belief that you are enough, that you are capable, and that the world will bend to the force of your will. It's the energy that separates a leader from a follower, a man who is desired from a man who is overlooked. But confidence isn't arrogance. It isn't loud or boastful. In fact, the loudest man in the room is often the weakest. Real confidence is quiet, controlled, and undeniable. A man who is truly confident doesn't need to prove it, it radiates from him. The way he walks, the way he talks, the way he carries himself all command attention without demanding it. He doesn't rely on gimmicks, flashy displays, or empty bravado. Instead, his presence alone is enough to turn heads. Women are wired to sense a man's inner strength before he even says a word. They notice how he enters a room, how he stands, how he reacts under pressure. A man who hesitates, who seeks approval, who constantly checks to see if others agree with him, is invisible. A man who knows his own worth, who doesn't flinch under scrutiny, who makes decisions without looking back. That's a man women can't ignore. Because deep down, confidence isn't just about being attractive, it's about being reliable. It's about showing the world that you know who you are and that nothing can shake that foundation. The Stoics understood this deeply. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build through action, discipline, and self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they all knew that a man's strength doesn't come from the opinions of others, but from his own inner stability. A Stoic man is confident because his worth isn't tied to external validation. He doesn't need people to agree with him to know he's on the right path. He walks with certainty, not because he has all the answers, but because he trusts himself enough to find them. He doesn't crumble when he's criticized, he listens, assesses, and moves forward. He doesn't hesitate in his decisions, he trusts his judgment. He doesn't beg for attention, he naturally attracts it by simply being a man of purpose and presence. He doesn't break under pressure, he thrives in it. And that resilience, that ability to stand firm in his identity, makes him magnetic. Confidence isn't something you say, it's something you are. And women can tell the difference between a man who is truly confident and one who is faking it. The faker overcompensates, he brags, he boasts, he exaggerates his achievements. He constantly needs to remind people of his value because, deep down, he doesn't believe in it himself. But a truly confident man? He lets his actions speak for him. He doesn't have to prove anything to anyone because he already knows his worth. This kind of confidence comes from knowing yourself. If you have no direction, if you don't know what you want, if you hesitate in the face of choices, you will never be truly confident. Women can sense uncertainty like sharks smell blood in the water. They are instinctively drawn to men who are sure of themselves because confidence is a signal of strength, stability, and leadership. It tells them that you can handle life, that you can handle adversity, that you won't break under pressure. A man who is certain of himself, who follows his own path without hesitation, who never asks for permission to exist, that man is intoxicating. He doesn't need approval to take action. He doesn't shrink when challenged. He doesn't wait for the perfect moment, he creates it. That kind of certainty is rare, and anything rare is valuable. Confidence isn't just about what you say or how you look. It's about how you live. A man who does what he loves, who doesn't second-guess himself, and who lives for his own mission instead of chasing validation. That is a man women can't resist. A man who can stand alone without fear, who takes risks without doubting himself, who builds his own world instead of waiting for someone to give him permission. That man is unforgettable. So if you want confidence, don't try to act like you have it. Build it. Work on yourself. Strengthen your mind, sharpen your skills, and master your emotions. A man who is disciplined, who respects himself, and who refuses to settle for mediocrity will never have to chase attention. The world, and the women in it, will notice him without him even trying. Chapter 2. Chivalry. People love to say that chivalry is dead, that women don't care about gentlemen anymore. That today's world is different, that respect and manners don't matter. That's complete nonsense. A real woman, one who values herself and the men she allows into her life, will always appreciate a man who carries himself with strength, grace, and honor. Because chivalry isn't just about opening doors or pulling out chairs, it's a reflection of a man's inner strength, his ability to lead, and his unwavering commitment to living by a code of respect. Chivalry isn't about some outdated, corny traditions. It's about something deeper, a silent signal that you are a man of principle, discipline, and respect. It's about showing strength through action. Holding the door open, guiding her through a crowded room, standing between her and the street, these aren't just gestures. They are subconscious displays of leadership, protection, and presence. And to a woman, that is deeply attractive. A man who embodies chivalry communicates, without saying a word, that he is dependable, that he values the people around him, and that he is not swayed by modern trends that try to dismiss old-fashioned virtues as weaknesses. Most men today either act like cowards or like fools. They either lack the backbone to take the lead or think that being disrespectful makes them alpha. Both are wrong. A strong man leads without controlling, protects without smothering, and commands respect without demanding it. He doesn't feel the need to prove his masculinity by being aggressive, nor does he shrink himself out of fear of being seen as too dominant. He moves through life with quiet confidence, taking responsibility for his actions, his words, and the way he treats those around him. A man who embodies chivalry understands that it's not about grand gestures, it's about consistency. It's about making a woman feel safe in his presence, not through words, but through his behavior. A strong handshake, an upright posture, the ability to calmly handle a tense situation, these are the marks of a man who doesn't just pretend to be strong, but truly is. And women notice. They don't just notice what you do for them, they notice how you treat everyone. The way you interact with strangers, the way you speak to a waiter, the way you handle stressful situations, all of these moments reveal your character. And character is something that cannot be faked. A weak man will only be kind when he wants something. He'll act charming when he's interested, but the moment a woman pulls away or doesn't reciprocate his feelings, his mask slips. Suddenly, his kindness turns into resentment, his patience into frustration. He was never truly chivalrous, he was merely performing. A strong man, on the other hand, doesn't treat people well because he expects something in return. He does it because it's who he is. Women can spot the difference instantly. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man's actions reveal his soul, and that's exactly what chivalry does. It isn't about impressing a woman, it's about being a man who naturally moves with strength and respect. When a man has high standards for himself, he doesn't need to be told to behave with dignity. It's second nature to him. He doesn't see chivalry as a tactic or a tool to win affection, it's simply the way he lives. Think about it, how often do women complain that men today don't take initiative? That they don't lead, don't make decisions, don't stand firm in their values. That's because true chivalry is rare. And anything rare is valuable. A man who holds himself to a higher standard is a man who naturally stands out. He doesn't need to chase validation or prove his worth, his actions speak for themselves. Chivalry isn't about doing nice things to win a woman over. It's about being a man who sets a standard of strength, respect, and leadership in all aspects of life. It's about carrying yourself with dignity, treating people with fairness, and refusing to lower your standards just because the world around you has. Women respect a man who knows who he is and isn't afraid to live by a code of honor. When you embody chivalry, you don't just attract women, you command respect from everyone. You become the kind of man who inspires others, who earns admiration without seeking it, who leads without forcing people to follow. And when you move through the world like that, women won't just notice, you'll stand out from every other man she's ever met. Chapter 3: Sense of Humor. A man who doesn't take himself too seriously is a man women love being around. Humor isn't just about making people laugh, it's a sign of intelligence, confidence, and emotional strength. A man who can make a woman laugh instantly lowers her defenses and creates a sense of comfort that no amount of forced charm or expensive gifts can ever replace. Laughter is an emotional bridge, a way to connect on a deeper level without saying a word. When a woman laughs with a man, she feels at ease, she feels safe, entertained, and intrigued. But not all humor is attractive. Weak men try too hard, they rely on crude jokes, childish antics, or excessive self-deprecation to get attention. They joke because they feel insecure, not because they are actually confident. They use humor as a shield, a way to hide their nervousness. Women pick up on this immediately. It's not funny, it's desperate. A man who is constantly cracking jokes, trying to be the loudest person in the room, or using humor as a way to mask his discomfort isn't charming, he's exhausting. A truly confident man? He laughs at life. He doesn't need to put others down to be funny. He isn't offended by every little thing. He doesn't try to be the center of attention with constant jokes, he just naturally enjoys life, and that energy is contagious. His humor is effortless, flowing from a place of true self-assurance. He's not afraid to tease a woman playfully, not in a mean-spirited way, but in a way that creates chemistry and excitement. His humor is situational, clever, and, most importantly, natural. This is where Stoicism and humor go hand in hand. The Stoics knew that life is unpredictable, hardship is inevitable, and control is an illusion. They understood that sometimes the only rational response to the chaos of life is to laugh at it. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the power of perspective. When things go wrong, you can either get angry and lose control or smile and stay in command of yourself. The ability to laugh in the face of misfortune is a sign of strength. A weak man complains when things don't go his way. A strong man finds the humor in the situation and keeps moving forward. Think about the most charismatic and admired men throughout history. They weren't overly serious or stiff, they had a light-hearted way of dealing with the world. They weren't bothered by small things, they didn't take offense easily, and they knew that a little bit of humor could diffuse even the tensest situations. That kind of composure is magnetic. It's what separates the men who crumble under stress from the men who rise above it. Women aren't drawn to men who panic, complain, or take everything personally. They are drawn to men who can laugh in the face of adversity and keep moving forward. That kind of humor isn't just entertaining, it's reassuring. It signals that no matter what happens, you won't lose your cool. Women want to be with a man who can turn a bad day into an adventure, who can lighten the mood with a simple joke, and who knows how to find joy even in difficult times. And humor isn't just about making others laugh, it's about knowing how to enjoy life. A man who finds humor in everyday moments is a man who isn't weighed down by negativity. He's the type of man who can have fun anywhere, who can turn mundane situations into memorable experiences. A man who takes himself too seriously comes across as rigid, anxious, and difficult to be around. But a man who embraces humor shows that he is confident, relaxed, and emotionally stable. Women don't just enjoy humor, they crave it. A man who can make a woman laugh isn't just making her feel good in the moment, he's creating a connection that goes deeper than attraction. He's showing her that he can handle life's ups and downs without losing his sense of self. He's showing her that he doesn't let stress, failure, or negativity control him. And that is incredibly attractive. A man with a sharp sense of humor, a relaxed attitude, and a fearless approach to life is a man women can't help but admire. His presence is uplifting, his energy is refreshing, and his ability to make life feel lighter is something women find irresistible. Chapter 4. Integrity, keeping your word. Nothing turns a woman off faster than a man who says one thing and does another. A man who makes promises but never follows through. A man who talks a big game but lacks the backbone to back it up. Weak men are inconsistent, they flake on plans, change their stories, avoid responsibility, and make empty promises just to impress others. This kind of behavior doesn't just make a man seem unreliable, it makes him look weak. And weakness is the ultimate deal breaker. A real man? He keeps his word. Integrity isn't just about honesty, it's about consistency. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you promise to call, you call. If you set a goal, you follow through. It doesn't matter if it's inconvenient, if you don't feel like it, or if no one else is holding you accountable. Your word is your bond. A man who lives by this principle earns the respect of those around him, not just women, but friends, family, and colleagues. People trust a man whose actions align with his words. Women are wired to test men, whether consciously or subconsciously. They want to know if you're reliable, if you can be trusted, and if your actions match your words. They will pay attention to how you handle commitments, whether it's something as simple as showing up on time or something as big as staying true to your values in difficult situations. A man who lacks integrity fails those tests every time. And when a woman sees that a man can't be trusted with small things, she will never trust him with the big things, her time, her emotions, or her future. A weak man's inconsistency isn't just frustrating, it's unattractive. And it's not about looks, money, or charm. A man can be good-looking and successful, but if he constantly contradicts himself, breaks his word, or makes excuses, women will lose interest. Attraction isn't just about physical appearance, it's about dependability, strength, and the ability to follow through. When a man lacks integrity, it signals that he lacks self-respect, and a man who doesn't respect himself will never earn the respect of others. But a man who has integrity? He commands respect. Integrity is the foundation of trust. And trust is the foundation of attraction. A woman can be physically drawn to a man, but the moment she realizes he's flaky, unreliable, or dishonest, that attraction dies instantly. On the other hand, a man who proves time and time again that his word is law will make a woman feel safe, secure, and valued. And nothing is more attractive than that. This is why the Stoics lived by this principle. They didn't waste words. They didn't make excuses. They didn't say things just to sound good. If they made a promise, they kept it. Because to them, a man's character was defined by his actions, not his words. A Stoic man understands that trust is earned, not given, and he lives in a way that makes others confident in his reliability. He doesn't need to remind people that he's trustworthy, his actions prove it. Integrity isn't just about how you treat others, it's also about how you treat yourself. A man who lacks integrity breaks promises to himself just as often as he breaks them to others. He says he'll start working out, but never follows through. He says he'll stop wasting time, but falls back into the same bad habits. He tells himself he'll take control of his life, but keeps making excuses. Over time, this creates a cycle of self-betrayal, and when a man can't trust himself, no one else will trust him either. A man with integrity holds himself to a higher standard. When he says he's going to do something, he follows through, not because someone is watching, not because he's trying to impress anyone, but because he values his own word. And that discipline, that consistency, makes all the difference. It separates the strong from the weak, the reliable from the unreliable, the leaders from the followers. Women don't just respect integrity, they desire it. A man who consistently keeps his word stands out because most men don't. Most men break promises. Most men flake on plans. Most men make excuses. When a woman meets a man who is different, who actually does what he says he'll do, she notices. She appreciates it. And she respects him for it. Integrity isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. And in a world where most men are weak, flaky, and full of excuses, a man who stands firm in his word is a man who will always stand out. Chapter 5: Cleanliness, Self-Care and Order. A man who takes care of himself commands respect. Cleanliness isn't just about looking good, it's about self-discipline, self-respect, and an understanding of how the world perceives you. This isn't about vanity or obsessing over appearance. It's about valuing yourself enough to present the best version of yourself to the world. When a man puts effort into his grooming, attire, and environment, he is silently communicating that he is in control of his life. Women are drawn to this because it signals a strong sense of order and responsibility, traits that define high-value men. Every detail matters, and women notice them all. The scent of your cologne, the freshness of your breath, the cleanliness of your fingernails, the way your hair is styled, all these things send subconscious signals. A man who neglects his hygiene sends the wrong message, even if he is otherwise charming or confident. It's not just about avoiding being unkempt, it's about demonstrating that you hold yourself to a higher standard. When you take care of yourself, it doesn't just impact your appearance, it transforms the way people perceive you. Women naturally gravitate toward men who show signs of self-respect because it suggests that they will also respect others. Your environment is just as important as your personal cleanliness. A clean, organized space reflects a sharp, disciplined mind. Women pay attention to how a man lives, and an untidy home is an instant red flag. If your space is cluttered, dusty, or filled with unwashed dishes and wrinkled clothes, it signals laziness and a lack of control. No woman wants to walk into a man's place and feel overwhelmed by mess and disorder. On the other hand, a neat, well-organized space communicates structure, discipline, and reliability. It shows that you have your life together. And for women, that's incredibly attractive. Cleanliness isn't about striving for perfection, it's about showing that you respect yourself and your surroundings. A man who puts effort into his hygiene and order sends a powerful message. He is responsible, capable, and aware. These are qualities that separate a mature, desirable man from an average one. It's not about wearing expensive clothes or looking like a model. It's about dressing with care, making sure your clothes are pressed, your shoes are clean, and your overall appearance is polished. When you walk into a room looking put together, you command attention without saying a word. the connection between cleanliness and self-care runs deep. A man who prioritizes his hygiene, health, and surroundings understands that his external world is a reflection of his internal discipline. When you care about the details, you carry yourself differently. Your posture improves, your confidence increases, and people take you more seriously. Women, in particular, are instinctively drawn to men who exude order and control because it signifies strength and reliability. Think about the men who naturally attract attention when they enter a room. It's not just their looks, it's the way they carry themselves. They smell good, they are well-groomed, and their clothes are crisp. They give off an aura of self-assurance because they know they look their best. A man who neglects these details, on the other hand, sends the message that he doesn't care enough to present himself well. That lack of effort doesn't go unnoticed. It makes a woman question what other areas of his life he may be neglecting. Small habits make a huge difference. Regular grooming, clean clothes, fresh breath, trimmed nails, these details show that you are disciplined and have high standards for yourself. Women aren't impressed by carelessness. They appreciate a man who takes pride in the way he looks and lives. This extends to every part of your environment, your car, your bedroom, your kitchen. A clean, well-kept space isn't just about aesthetics, it represents clarity of mind and control over your life. Ultimately, cleanliness is an extension of your self-worth. A man who respects himself will naturally keep himself and his environment in order. And when a woman sees that, she knows she's dealing with a man who takes life seriously, a high-value man who has control over his world and holds himself to a higher standard. Chapter 6. Punctuality, valuing her time. A man who respects time respects himself. Time is the one resource we can never get back, and how you manage it speaks volumes about your character, discipline, and priorities. Showing up late, making people wait, or failing to plan ahead may seem like minor issues, but they reveal something much deeper about a person's mindset. Women notice these details because they signal whether a man is reliable, respectful, and in control of his life. A man who consistently disregards time is, in essence, disregarding the value of others, including the woman he is trying to attract. Being punctual isn't just about showing up on time, it's about demonstrating discipline, self-mastery, and a deep respect for order. A man who respects time shows that he is intentional with his actions, that he plans ahead, and that he follows through on his commitments. This kind of man doesn't allow distractions, laziness, or excuses to dictate his behavior. Instead, he holds himself to a higher standard, ensuring that his word and actions align. Women find this incredibly attractive because it shows leadership, dependability, and a sense of purpose, qualities that separate exceptional men from the rest. Punctuality is also a sign of self-respect. A man who is always running late or making excuses for his tardiness often lacks control over his own life. He may not realize it, but his inability to manage time signals deeper issues, perhaps a lack of focus, poor planning, or even an underlying disregard for his own commitments. On the other hand, a man who values every second of his life exudes confidence and competence. He treats his time as a precious asset, using it wisely to build, grow, and create opportunities rather than waste it on trivial distractions. A man who respects time is naturally efficient. He plans his day, sets goals, and takes action without unnecessary delays. He doesn't operate in chaos or let life push him around. He takes charge and dictates his own pace. This level of self-discipline extends to all areas of his life, from work to relationships. When a woman sees a man who is punctual and organized, she instinctively recognizes his ability to lead. A man who is in control of his schedule is in control of his destiny, and this sense of direction is a powerful magnet for attraction. Moreover, punctuality sends a strong message about how much a man values a woman's time. Women are highly attuned to the little ways a man demonstrates respect, and being late, especially repeatedly, communicates a lack of consideration. No woman wants to feel like she is an afterthought or that her time is not as important as his. But when a man shows up on time, prepared, and ready to engage, it tells her that he prioritizes her, that he sees her as valuable, and that he is someone she can rely on. This small but crucial habit can make the difference between being seen as just another guy and being perceived as a high-value man. There's also an element of personal pride in punctuality. A man who makes it a habit to respect time is making a statement about his standards. He expects excellence from himself and holds himself accountable. He understands that life rewards those who are prepared, who act with urgency, and who take responsibility for their commitments. This attitude separates successful men from those who constantly scramble through life, always running behind, always apologizing, and always struggling to catch up. Punctuality is one of the simplest yet most powerful habits a man can cultivate to instantly elevate his presence and reputation. It requires no special talent, no wealth, and no external advantages, just discipline and respect. And because so many men fail in this area, the ones who master it stand out effortlessly. Women don't need grand gestures to be impressed. They need consistency, reliability, and a man who does what he says he will do, starting with showing up on time. A man who values time values efficiency, leadership, and control. He doesn't drift aimlessly through life, hoping things will fall into place. He creates order, he takes action, and he leads with confidence. And that is an instant turn-on. A woman wants a man who is dependable, a man she can trust to show up when he says he will, a man who respects her enough to never waste her time. In the end, punctuality isn't just about managing minutes, it's about managing life. And the man who masters time masters everything. Chapter 7: Vulnerability, True Strength. The strongest men aren't the ones who hide their emotions, they're the ones who own them. Stoicism isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about mastering them. And women are deeply drawn to a man who is both strong and emotionally open. The ability to acknowledge and express emotions in a controlled and intentional way is not a sign of weakness, it is a testament to true strength. A man who understands his emotions, rather than being controlled by them, stands out in a world where many struggle to balance masculinity with emotional depth. Vulnerability doesn't mean being weak. It means being real. It means knowing when to express yourself, when to open up, and when to let a woman see your human side. This balance is what makes a man magnetic. Women are naturally drawn to men who are confident yet emotionally present, who can navigate the complexities of their feelings without becoming overwhelmed by them. The key is not in exposing every thought or fear recklessly, but in understanding that true intimacy comes from a willingness to be seen for who you are. Strength isn't about building walls, it's about having the courage to let someone in. A man who is confident enough to be vulnerable without losing control is a man who creates deep, emotional attraction. He doesn't shy away from difficult conversations. He doesn't fear moments of honesty. Instead, he embraces them, knowing that true power comes from authenticity. Women crave emotional depth because it signals security, maturity, and trustworthiness. A man who can communicate his struggles, desires, and experiences openly without losing his composure radiates an irresistible presence. He is neither emotionally distant nor overly dependent. He is balanced, self-assured, and real. In the modern world, many men have been conditioned to believe that Stoicism means shutting down emotionally. But true Stoicism is about emotional mastery, not suppression. It's about acknowledging emotions, understanding them, and directing them in a way that serves your growth. A man who has this level of control is admired and respected by both men and women alike. He knows that vulnerability isn't an admission of defeat, but a strategic display of courage. It is the ultimate paradox. The more secure a man is in himself, the more comfortable he is with his emotions. This level of emotional intelligence makes a man unforgettable. A woman will remember the man who made her feel safe enough to open up because he led by example. She will be drawn to the man who listens, understands, and reciprocates emotional honesty. While many men try to impress women with bravado or indifference, the ones who truly captivate them are those who are unafraid to be human. Women don't want a man who is indifferent to emotion, they want one who is in control of it. Being vulnerable does not mean spilling every thought or insecurity at once. It means knowing when and how to share, demonstrating that you trust her enough to be real. When done correctly, this level of openness strengthens relationships rather than weakens them. Women see it as a sign of maturity, self-awareness, and depth. The ability to share emotions while maintaining composure creates a powerful dynamic, one where a woman feels both emotionally connected and deeply respected. Ultimately, vulnerability is not a liability, it is an asset. The most attractive men are not the ones who pretend to be invincible, but the ones who are strong enough to be real. A man who understands the balance between strength and emotional openness commands a different level of respect. He becomes the kind of man women admire, trust, and are irresistibly drawn to. Because in the end, true strength isn't about hiding, it's about showing up as your most authentic self. The biggest turn-ons for women aren't about looks or money. They're about who you are as a man. Confidence, integrity, humor, discipline, these are the things that make women crave you on a level they can't even explain. If you made it this far, drop a comment and share which of these traits you've mastered or which one you're working on. Like and subscribe for more. And remember, attraction isn't about tricks. It's about becoming the kind of man women can't resist.